Let's begin with the reporter from the Missourian.
Sure.
What's your name?
My name's Nancy Coleman.
Nancy Coleman. Yes.
My main question, you talk about kind of accountability,
Mhm.
moving forward with these big research expenditure plans. Kind of how are you planning on holding, first yourselves accountable, as you mentioned, but then also faculty accountable to reach these goals?
Well, at the end of the day, it's faculty members who actually perform the research. So we need to ensure, first of all, that we create a climate where a climate and a culture where funded research program for those disciplines in which funding is expected are encouraged and also incentivized. We'll also measure our progress. In fact, I think today was probably the first time in probably many, many years in which the expenditure numbers were shown to the public. And we have to know where we are if we want to grow to something even greater to achieve excellence. So the accountability for all of us starts with the goals that we established. At Mizzou, it's doubling research expenditures over the next 5 years. At the three other universities, it's increasing research by 50% over the next 5 years and ensuring that we have commensurate increases in the other measures of research excellence, including journal articles, books, citations, and national awards for our faculty, which are the hallmarks of outstanding research, regardless of discipline.
I-
So,
If I could add just one thing, I think part of it is too a new transparency and openness with the public, with you as members of the media, and with the entire state. Dr. Choi has brought that sort of attitude to the university. I think it's creeping throughout the university. Those of you who have followed the board, I think, would agree that we are having much more substantive and in some ways tougher discussions. We're expecting the public to hold the board accountable, the board to hold Dr. Choi accountable, and part of the whole task force was that accountability runs on all through the lines. Deans have to be accountable, department heads have to be accountable, and ultimately faculty has to be accountable.
that's true. Let's go to Alyssa.
One thing that, and I apologize, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but the person that you had called Curators still wanted to come up and talk about.
Camila.
Camila Manrique.
Mhm.
Camila Manrique. One thing that she mentioned that I really didn't hear any discussion about, and I know President Choi, we talked about this before, but was faculty and staff raises as an incentive. We talked a lot about all the different investments that you guys are going to make, and we really haven't heard too much about that. I know you talked about the 5-year plan, the investments, but can you lay out, specifically how we're going to incentivize some of these faculty from a monetary standpoint, particularly when we're trying to recruit new faculty as well?
Mhm. So this year, with a 2% merit pool, the department chairs, the deans, the provosts, and chancellors, all the way through the line, prioritize rewarding excellence in their performance, the faculty and staff, to support the mission that we have of being an educational institution that provides a high quality program for our students and growing research and engagement. And so there were some individuals who received significant increases, double digit increases, as part of their retention strategy and to recognize high performance. And there were individuals who were merely doing their jobs, but nothing meritorious, who saw very little raises. So there was a very large distribution or spectrum of raises that were provided. We need to continue that. A 2% merit pool will not make a significant difference for just 1 year, but doing that over the next 5 years is going to make a big difference in illustrating to our faculty and staff that we appreciate them and that we are here to expect excellence, but we'll also reward excellence. So all of the CFOs and the chancellors will build in to their budget a 2% merit pool, and that is our expectation. So in order to do that, we're going to have to grow revenue sources. We're going to have to reallocate existing resource allocations to prioritize for the goals that we have for merit increases. So that's going to be part of our ongoing efforts to ensure that we have faculty and staff who are paid competitively while working in our universities.
Do you think that'll help with recruitment efforts as well?
It will not only recruitment efforts, but also retention efforts. We have some top faculty and staff who are going to be poached by other universities because they recognize their commitment to excellence. So we need to make sure not only do we recruit new people, we have to take care of the good people that we have at our universities. Rudy.
The enrollment this year at Mizzou is down, enrollment at S&T is down. You know, when you talk about those new resources, those are, students are one of your basic avenues for generating those dollars.
It is.
So what do you think is the, what do you think is the future in terms of enrollment, and is it what Mr. Skillman was talking about today, trying to dominate the online market, or is it getting students actually on campus?
It's going to be a combination of both. We recognize that there is that the interactions that students have by being in a community of other students, learning from them, interacting with them while they are attending our lectures and performing research in a laboratory, that experience is so critical for the growth of our students. But we also have to recognize that there are so many students just in Missouri, or potential students, adult learners, who want to attend the university, but they don't currently have the resources or the time commitment that can apply for that purpose. So Chairman Steelman mentioned that there are 750,000 adult learners who have some college credit but do not hold college degrees that we can leverage by using very innovative online programs. If we can capture 5% of that group, the 5% of that group, and let's just take a number of, let's say 25,000. 25,000 students that can be served through distance learning is a number that Arizona State is currently serving, and they're generating about $200 million in revenue, and the net revenue is anywhere from $30 to $40 million that are used to pump back into the academic and research enterprise. And so it serves a very important purpose of training adult learners in the state that can help with economic development, but at the same time creates very important revenues for our universities.
If I could just add again, just one thing to that, and this goes with what I really think is a great emphasis by Governor Parson on workforce development. This is part of the university doing its part for the state.
Of course.
And we can make a tremendous difference in the workforce development and how employers view this state and the economic opportunities in this state if we can capture, as Dr. Choi said, just a small percentage of those online learners.
The freshmen, first-time freshmen at Mizzou rebounded about 13%. Missouri State had a decline in first-time freshman enrollment of about 4%. Do you think that you're winning the recruitment battle in southern Missouri?
Well, in southern Missouri, we saw a 45% increase in the number of students compared to last year. So that's a very impressive number. But the statistics throughout the traditional areas in which we recruit have also increased, whether it's in Chicago, mid-Missouri, St. Louis region, and we're also getting into new markets in Denver and Atlanta. So we're going to have obviously Missouri strategy to ensure that we have the best and the brightest attend our universities, but we're also going to be exploring emerging markets as well. But I'm really pleased with the efforts of our communications and marketing team to be able to target our advertisement marketing to gain the interest. And in the words of Cameron Farwell, the growth year over year was tremendous. Even a 13% growth, that's the largest that we've seen in 10 years, in 15 years. Second largest in 25 years. Yes. He's giving me baseball signals over there. Yes.
I mean, and in the first 5-year plans of the Soviet Union, they had a tremendous growth too because they had a small number starting. So large, the numbers from a small base gives you a high percentage.
Rudy, you're
Well,
such a pessimist. You
well,
have crossed the line between skepticism and cynicism.
but he does it so well. He does it so well. But Rudy, let's think back. The slide from 6,500 freshman students in 2014 to what was 4,800 in 2016, and then what turned out to be 4,150 in 2017. We had to stem that tide. And if we didn't actively focus on enrollment strategies, it could have gone the other way. We could have had another bad year, but we decided that we needed to go out and tell the positive story that Mizzou represents. AAU institution committed to research inspired teaching and breakthrough research with engagement that is second to none. And once we started telling that story and sharing with the communities around the Missouri and around the country that we are going to go back to our fundamentals, it really turned the tide, and we're happy about that.
You know, data is important, but you can also get feelings. The truth is, I think everybody who is part of the university and observes the university and is in state government understands that Mizzou is back.
Mizzou is back. Did you see the video, Rudy, the anthem video? It,
Did you get a tear in your eye?
well, he's a Mizzou alum. Okay, you don't have to answer that question. Yes, can you ask another question? Do you have another question? Yes.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd like to know more about the Department of Defense related research that was discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't really have a specific question, but just kind of understanding.
Sure,
where you
sure.
come from and kind of moving forward, how that works.
So Department of Defense funds a variety of research, and it's not just in the area of, let's say, materials development for aerospace applications or munitions or projects like that. They fund a lot of work related to human health. And they were at one point the largest funder of breast cancer research. And now they are moving into learning more about how to treat, how to diagnose and treat PTSD. And that's an area that we're really actively engaged in, as well as traumatic brain injuries, as we discussed before. At Missouri S&T, we have one of the best departments of explosive engineering, where they actually create the type of explosives that are used for mining, but also that can be used for protecting our men and women who are in service. Same time, those faculty members that are working in the Department of School of Medicine at Mizzou are trying to better understand how to diagnose the types of concussion, the types of long-term exposure to activities that can actually create the traumatic brain injuries and how to recover from that. So it takes a lot of work in neurological sciences, as well as understanding the social aspects of those soldiers seeking out help to get that type of treatment. So it's a comprehensive program. But there are other programs like the drone projects right here at UMKC that is used not to use drones to film, let's say, buildings or traffic patterns, but using drones to protect assets from other drones that can be used as weapons. For example, if you have a very high asset military aircraft taken off that is worth several $billion, we don't want to have a swarm of drones that can be used in a very asynchronous method to take down that asset. So how do you use drones to protect against other drones? So those are some of the research topics. Alyssa?
When you were talking about the ASU and growing research and using ASU as an example, I think it was probably a year and a half ago at this point when I did the story on state funding, decreasing and how the university was in this position. And I was happy when you mentioned the CPI and being able to increase tuition because I made a whole graph with Arizona State and I had it there and talked about how
That's right.
they were able, even though, they had this success, they were able to increase tuition significantly above CPI. Is that something, last year there was a deal inked with the legislature in terms of keeping tuition steady in return for steady state funding? What do those discussions look like as we move forward in terms of tuition,
Sure.
particularly since, like Rudy mentioned,
Sure.
enrollment is key?
So University of Missouri system will not increase tuition over a 9-year period at a rate of 85% above CPI. That is not fair to our students or Missourians. So our tuition increases are going to be measured and appropriate for the needs that we have. But when we increase tuition, we have to also think about what does that mean in terms of overall affordability. If we can increase tuition to have a larger revenue source that can be used to hire additional faculty and teaching assistants so that our students can get into the classes that they need to graduate and graduate on time, as opposed to reducing the number of faculty because of lack of resources, which may extend the time to graduation, that's not a win for the students. So we have to figure out how do we best use those revenue sources to ensure student success. So we are not planning on having that kind of a tuition increase, but when the state does cut our resources because of state's own financial challenges, we have to have the flexibility to increase tuition so that the core operation of the university is achieved.
I can say I'm still hopeful that we can get the ability to be more transparent in differential tuition. I'm still hopeful that we can recognize that some degrees are both worth more and cost more, like engineering
Business, accounting.
and business and accounting,
They're saying-
and frankly, so that we could have a really top-notch first-class honors college with self-contained within the university. And all of those things, I think we need a little bit more flexibility from the state just for those purposes. You can do them through fees, but that makes financial aid hard and is not as transparent as we'd like to be.
True.
Do you think there's a reason for why there hasn't been that flexibility from the state, particularly in light of the fact that higher education tends to get on the chopping blocks first in terms of budgeting?
Well, you've got to have, I think we have to have a little understanding and sympathy for the position legislators and governors are put into with this. There's a lot of parents out there who are really wondering how they can afford for their children to attend the university and get the education that they know they need to be successful, because higher education has become more expensive. So it's really up to us to explain to the policymakers how this can actually result in lower net tuition and more opportunity and faster graduation rates. So yeah, we have to explain those issues better.
And when you say net tuition, you mean over the 4 years?
Well, not just over the 4 years. You can actually have, you can actually increase tuition, but make that available in scholarship money, in room and board. You can actually increase tuition without increasing the net cost to the average student.
Just want to make sure I was clear.
University, on one point in the Royce Barandas lawsuit that can continue to regulate the bringing of concealable weapons in your car to campus. Now it's got to defend its regulations on firearms and on constitutional grounds.
Can your question is fair. We're going to do an executive session, though, immediately after this, where there will be a board consensus on how to approach this. So I want him to go, but I wanted him to know we are going to have a board.
Okay, but, so the question is, what sort of reexamination of policies is underway to make sure that you truly do pass constitutional muster?
Can I answer that? That will be discussed here very shortly with the board and our general counsel.
And we'll get back to you on that shortly. We just want to make sure that we have a full discussion with the board, because it is a very important decision.
It's a board. I think it's a board decision. Plus, we have to have. There are some legal complexities that we need to have counsel on.
The idea of a revision of rules is on the table.
A full discussion is on the table.
All right, I will. Thank you.
All right, are there any last minute questions?
And a quick clarification.
Yes.
on what you talked about earlier.
Yes.
What's the timeframe for that 2% merit pool?
Time
Timeframe.
time frame. Well, we had the 2% performance increase pool this year. So not most, I think all of our faculty and staff have been notified of their increase, and it should have been reflected on their September 1st, October 1st paycheck. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.